Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to take a look at iOS 26. So Apple released a whole new design for iOS 26. A lot of people were expecting it to be called iOS 19, but Apple took a totally different turn and then they named it iPhone 26, and this is a whole new design language. It's not so different from the iOS 18, as you can see, but it does feel and look different. Okay. So they are calling this new design language the liquid glass, and then every native app and design on this new update uses the liquid glass design. As you can see, this is it reacts to touch, it reacts to movements, and as you can see, this looks very cool. It's available on beta for most devices, so the iPhones, the iPads, tvOS, watchOS. Yeah, so before we get into this video, I want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel and like the video. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So please like and subscribe. My first impressions, I think it's quite okay. I mean, the design for Apple has been the same for quite a while now, and it's nice to see a new refresh. Although I personally have some mixed feelings about it, but yeah, we'll see how maybe it grows on me. So the first thing that's I want to notice is the notification panel. So as you can see, it's right here. It's a little bit more rounded as compared to iOS 18. What I personally don't like is the transparency on the iOS 26. You can see that it's kind of a bit distracting when you have a lot going on in the background. So let me just open the Photos app, and then you can see it's a little bit more distracting, and then it's kind of makes it difficult to read or see what's here because of there's a lot going on in the background. So it does have some issues in terms of readability. Okay, it's not very distracting, but then it's not a great user experience. If I scroll down, you can see that the foreground kind of reacts to the colors in the background, and I think that's also very cool. It's emphasizing the liquid and the glass in the whole new design language. Okay, so we are now at the lock screen, and so they've added some new options to the customization. As you can see, there is new time or clock design. You can extend it all the way down, so it kind of like adjusts to your wallpaper. Then there's also this depth effects on the lock screen. So when you tap on this icon, you can see there are some options to extend the wallpaper, apply depth effects, and then if you are taking it from your Photos app, you can have the option to change the frequency of the photos. So if I take out the depth effects, you can now see that the numbers are no longer behind the image, and if I turn it on, you can see it goes back. So another change that has come to iOS 26 can be found in the camera app. So let me just compare it side by side with the one on iOS 18. So as you can see here on the iOS 26, there are only two options. That's for photo, so that's for photo and videos. Okay, but the other options are there. You just have to hold and swipe to switch between the other modes. So I think this is quite the way to go as compared to this. This looks a little bit more minimal and more clean. So your options are still available. You can just tap on it to review the other options like the flash, the live view, the timer, exposure, and all of that. So it's the same for the video too, but the video has more options here at the top. So you can see, you can switch between HD and your frame rates at the top left. Then there are also some other options here as well, the flash and exposure. Yeah, so I'm actually a big fan of the new camera design. It looks very minimal, and it's not presenting you with a lot of options. I'm sure most people rarely use options beyond photo, video, or portrait mode. So I think this is actually a better user experience. Right, so since we are still talking about photos and cameras, let me just go back into the Photos app, and as you can see, they have returned tabs and albums after a disastrous iOS 18 Photos app, which a lot of people didn't like. So yeah, as you can see, they brought it back, and then it's basically the same, following the whole liquid glass design language. It's very interactive. If you tap right here, can see there's this animation when you tap, and then you can switch between modes and all of that. So if we go into maybe a picture, so I've started this picture, and as you can see, there's this new icon right here, and it can add depth effects. It has this depth effects. I don't know if you can see it, but as I move, you can see the trees here have these depth effects, and it's separating the background from the foreground. So you can do this to a lot of pictures. Let me see if it works for this one. Yeah, so as you can see this, I think there's a better way of showcasing it. All right, so there are some new features in the messaging app. The design looks a little bit different. I mean, but when you go into, okay, even before that, you have this new option here at the top where you can filter your messages. So there's a message filter right there. And then also if you come into the chat app, you can see they've added backgrounds to the messages app, which I think it's long overdue since apps like WhatsApp, they already offered all of these features. But hey, I think it's better late than never. And I used to see some animations on this background that I implemented, but it has kind of stopped working. So I don't know if it's a bug or something, but let me just see. So what it's supposed to be moving. I don't know why it's okay. Yeah. So as you can see, it's moving in the background, as you can see here. So the other options here is the layout design has been changed. If you compare it to iOS 18, you can see instead of this long list, you just have it's neatly arranged in tabs. So you can have your locations, your documents, and your photos, and the info. That's a very nice redesign to the messaging app. And also the keyboard. The keyboard has a new design. It's very subtle, but it looks a little bit more modern. And as you can see on the edges, it's kind of emphasizing the liquid glass theme. So it's more rounded as compared to the iOS 18. And then there's also this very neat thing that I saw when you tap and hold. It has this magnifying effect. I don't know if I'm the one who hasn't noticed it, but I don't think that's there. Okay, it's there, but I mean, it just looks a little bit better on liquid glass theme. So yeah, I think it looks better. One new feature is the addition of polls in group chats. So as you can see, you can send polls. So choice one, choice two, and say yes. If I send, I don't know if the other people on, okay, they're not going to see it. They're not going to see it, but it's here. And you can also see it being updated in real time. Okay, but I think people on iOS 18 wouldn't receive it. So, and also when you open the phone app, this is the new layout for the phone app. You have your calls, your contacts, keypads, and I think if you have your favorites, it should appear at the top. But you also have the option to go back to the classic view. That's the old view. And you have the option to move back to the iOS 26 view. It's very nice that they've giving you the option to switch between the old one and the new one, but I think I'm ultimately going to stick with this. And then also talking about the design, the icons, you can actually edit and then like change some of these things. So as you can see, there's a new option to make it transparent. You can also make it tinted as well. So it'll be transparent and tinted. I don't know how this exactly is going to work, but as I said previously, readability issues and the experience is going to really drop depending on maybe you have to have a very contrasty background. But yeah, as you can see, there's this option. I think it looks cool. They just need to work on the readability of the transparent icons. But yeah, you can just leave it on tinted or you can just use your normal dark mode. So also the clear has a dark mode. So if I switch, you can see the icons are a little bit darker as compared to the light mode. Yeah, so you're going to be seeing this new liquid glass design on most of the phone, especially on the native part. So even if you swipe down on the notification, you can like see that your notifications have all these liquid glass design. And for me, as I was talking about it earlier, the whole readability issue on some of these things, but I think it still looks cool, but they will have to kind of work on the readability of some of the text on the lock screen. So I just can say something like this. Of course, this is not the final build. I'm sure they'll be making it better over the next few months. And usually they release the public release in around September. So we should be expecting it to release in September. One other thing I also noticed was in settings. So the battery has a whole new design. I'm just compare it here with iOS 18. So if you go into battery, here as you can see, the battery has a new design here. It tells you the last time you charged. So that's 10:14. And then when you are charging, it shows you how much time is left. Yeah, so as you can see, it's charging and it tells you 22 minutes to 80% and 1 hour and 12 minutes to 100%. So that's also something new in iOS 26. The whole battery page has been redesigned. So as you can see, it shows you your overall usage. And then I think it looks very more clean and more refined on iOS 26 than iOS 18. So the battery health and charge hasn't moved. It's still the same. Yeah, and also when you go to the settings, you can see it has a new design right here. So it looks more refined, and then your search is now at the bottom instead of all the way at the top. Yes. So another thing that I noticed was in Safari. So as you can see in when you're kind of browsing, when you keep scrolling now, you see the what do you call it? The website or the bar below kind of shrinks, and then when you scroll back up, it just expands. And as you can see, it doesn't really stay at the bottom. It's kind of on top, and it has these transparent effects when you're scrolling. Yeah, another thing too is the games app. So the games app is kind of like a separate app where you can play games and compete with your friends. It's kind of like the Apple Arcade, but it has been separated. So you have a lot of games here that you can play and compete with your friends, see who's the best. And I mean, those who have the high-end iPhones and like to play games on it, I think this would help you stay in touch with your friends. It's not really a big deal, but I mean, it's just a nice to have. So yeah, so that's my review on the iOS 26. Of course, it's just a developer beta, and the public beta will be released next month, and then the full release should come in September. So I think the iOS 26 will be supported from the iPhone XR all the way to the iPhone 17. So yeah, let me know what you think about the new iOS 26 updates. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.